Pokemon Duel Trainers. I'm Mrs. Showtime, and today Professor Showtime is going to discuss the new Pokemon Shiny Raquaza. That's right, Shiny Raquaza.
Pokemon Duel Trainers. Is Shiny Ray here to stay? Is Shiny Ray plug and play? Stay tuned. It's showtime.
We could be.
What's up, trainers? I hope you guys enjoyed both of those intros. I really enjoyed doing them. But check it out. Today we're talking about Shiny Raquaza. There's a lot of things to cover, and I'm going to try to do them as quick as possible. Oh my gosh, is this Pokemon going to hit the meta by storm? I'm calling it from right now, and here are my thoughts. You guys know I'm always going against the grain in my analysis of Pokemon Duel, and whether you agree with me or disagree with me, you got to admit, it's going to be fun. So check it out. Shiny Raquaza. I had a small discussion with Saturday Night Monster, and we were discussing that this Pokemon gets +1 MP off the bench, which is huge. I mean, it's not gonna stick on your own entry point once you play first. You know, it's great. The problem with normal Rayquaza is that when you got it off the bench, it's stuck to your own entry point, so you kind of like blocked yourself. You know, so Shiny Raquaza, that's the first plus. The second plus is that the wheel is still awesome. You still got a gold attack that's hitting for 140. Bar none, that is the highest gold attack in the game. Alright, and also you got a break energy, so you're taking away from all the energy plates that are being played, but that's really not a huge part of the meta right now because a lot of people are moving towards sphere plates. But let's talk about Shiny Raquaza, and what everybody wants to know is about the airlock ability. Airlock. While this Pokemon is on the bench, it gains 1+ movement point. When this Pokemon is on the field, your Pokemon do not move to the Ultra Space by the effects or abilities or attacks by opposing Pokemon. Now, what does this mean? This means that if you're facing a Shiny Raquaza and you're running an Ultra Beast deck, and you hit Celesteela's Rendezvous ability, that means Celesteela that hits Rendezvous, he's going to go to the Ultra Space, but the opponent is not going to go to the Ultra Space. But that does not affect Celesteela's double R ability, its Rocket Ride ability. With Celesteela's Rocket Ride ability, he can still go to the Ultra Space. So that's what's killing the meta right now. What's killing the meta is Celesteela's Rocket Ride ability going to the Ultra Space and then bringing Nailego or Pheromosa down for the call signal. That's what's killing the meta. But Shiny Raquaza does not prevent that. It does not mitigate that. It does not stop that at all. Shiny Raquaza's airlock ability, it should simply state blocks Rendezvous, because that's what it counters. It counters Rendezvous, but that's about it. It doesn't counter the Rocket Ride ability. So Shiny Raquaza, you can run Shiny Raquaza in almost any type of deck. It's not gonna hurt you. Even if you run Shiny Raquaza in an Ultra Beast deck, you can legitimately run Shiny Raquaza in an Ultra Beast deck and you will not have any problems. And in my opinion, it probably fits in pretty well. The Ultra Beast deck, the biggest problem is that it doesn't have big beaters. It doesn't have heavy hitters. It doesn't have Pokemon that hit for an insane amount of damage unless you have Pokemon in the Ultra Space. And that's when Buzzwole come in. But if you don't have Pokemon in the Ultra Space, Buzzwole doesn't really do too much. But Shiny Raquaza, I think, fills that void. Also, in Ultra Beast decks, there aren't any gold attackers. So Shiny Raquaza can be a gold attacker in an Ultra Beast deck. I mean, that's gonna help a lot. I mean, definitely. But I feel that Shiny Raquaza is gonna really hit the meta by storm, and there's several reasons why. So what other synergies does Shiny Raquaza have? Shiny Raquaza fits in really well with the Altarias. You guys know what the Altarias do, right? The Altarias give +10 damage for each Dragon type Pokemon that you have and +10 damage for each Flying type Pokemon that you have. But guess what? Shiny Raquaza is a Dragon and a Flying type Pokemon. So that means it's going to get a +20 buff per an Altaria. So wait a minute. That means that 140-60 is really going to be a 160-80? Yeah, that's only with one Altaria. If there are 2 Altarias on the field, it's going to be a 180 extreme speed and a 100 break energy. If there are 3 Altarias on the field, you're going to have a whopping 200 gold extreme speed and a 120 break energy. Wow. So we may see triple Altarias along with a Shiny Raquaza. Another thing about Shiny Raquaza is that if Shiny Raquaza is on the field, normal Rayquaza also gets a boost of 1 movement point permanently, as long as Shiny Raquaza on the field. So let me know in the comments down below if you feel that Shiny Raquaza is going to see play, and if it does, if normal Rayquaza is going to see play to counter Shiny Raquaza. Let me know let me know how you think that's going to be. But I'm really disappointed in Airlock. You know, I'm gonna go over this really quick game first, and then I'm gonna share my thoughts about Airlock. So first things first, my opponent's gonna go first. He's gonna open up with a Stuffle. I'm gonna open up with my Shiny Raquaza. Now, you guys might be saying, Showtime, why would you open up with Shiny Raquaza? I mean, why didn't you put him towards the goal? Well, guys, if you look at Shiny Raquaza, he's not a goalie. He's nowhere near a goalie. Just because he has 1 movement point, he's not a goalie. Because check it out. That 3-star purple, that fly, if it hits most attacks, it's going to move. And you don't want your Pokemon flying off your goal. So if you put Shiny Raquaza on your goal, you're just asking for trouble. So Shiny Raquaza is not a goalie, just like Celesteela is not a goalie. Even though they're 1 movement point Pokemon, it's not a goalie. Same thing with Celesteela. He's not a goalie. If you hit that blue rendezvous ability, that's it. It's not even optional. In neither case, it's optional. So that's why I started with Shiny Raquaza aggressively. My opponent did the same thing. He started with Shiny Raquaza aggressively because he knows probably better than me that Shiny Raquaza is not a goalie. He probably got into trouble as well. And the reason why I started with Shiny Raquaza is because my opponent is playing with no runners. My opponent has no 3 movement point Pokemon, so that's why I started with Shiny Raquaza aggressively, because there's no threat to cap my entry points really quickly. If my opponent was running runners or 3 movement point Pokemons, this game would be totally different. I would start off with my Tapu Koko defensively, and maybe even my Blaziken defensively. But because he did not start off, because he does not have runners, I'm able to play a little bit more aggressive, and I'm able to try to set up the Celesteela Rocket Ride ability. He's gonna bring out his Altarias. I'm gonna bring my Nailigo on the entry point. So now I'm gonna set up I just set up the Rocket Ride. I went to the Ultra Space, and my Nailigo is 2 steps from the goal. So check it out, guys. My opponent has a Shiny Raquaza, and I have a Shiny Raquaza, and that's the reason why I chose this game. I know I'm in red, so I know it's a little bit more difficult to follow, but there are 2 Shiny Rayquazas on the field, and I had no problem getting off the Rocket Ride ability. Now my opponent retreats to the goal, which he should. I'm gonna go ahead and double chance with Nailigo, trying to hit the call signal. I go ahead and I attack the Altaria with my Nailigo, and my first chance I get the call signal. No need to double chance. I'm gonna go ahead and call back my Celesteela from the Ultra Space, and bang! You guys already know what that is. That's good game. The game is over basically at this point. There's nothing my opponent could do from here on. So guys, in my opinion, this whole ability of Shiny Raquaza, this airlock needs a huge buff. And I'm calling it right now. If the developers want Shiny Raquaza to be playable, they need to make airlock lock down the Ultra Space completely. I mean, why is it that it only locks down the Ultra Space for your Pokemon and not your opponent's Pokemon? It makes no sense. In my opinion, it makes no sense. In the main stage game, if there's a weather condition, it's gonna affect all the Pokemon on the field. But this airlock only affects your Pokemon, not your opponent's. So the Celesteela combo is still gonna, the Celesteela cheese with the Rocket Ride is still gonna work. What airlock does do, it locks down a Rendezvous. Now, if you guys watched N Help's deck, Help from the N Clan, he plays a deck where he plays with 3 Celesteelas and Ampharos into Mega Ampharos. And what he wants to do is he wants to hit the Rendezvous attack and send his Pokemon and the opponent's Pokemon to the Ultra Space, and he wants to do that a couple times. Now in that deck, he actually brings the Pokemon back from the Ultra Space with Mega Ampharos anytime Mega Ampharos evolves or devolves. Now Shiny Raquaza is gonna counter that deck. You know, if Shiny Raquaza is on the field and Rendezvous hits, then yeah, it's not gonna work. Only Celesteela is gonna get sent to the Ultra Space, but not the opponent's Pokemon. But Shiny Raquaza, I don't know. I'm really wishing they buff Airlock. At the same token, I still think it's plug and play. Shiny Raquaza doesn't hurt any deck. It's a 140 gold attacker, it's 2 movement points off the bench, and you know, it's beefy. It's beefy. In the comments down below, let me know how you feel. Let me know if you guys think Shiny Raquaza is gonna make a play for the meta. I mean, and it's free. You know, that's the most important part, it's free. Especially in lower leagues. I really think it's gonna see some play, but even in high leagues, I really think it may see some play in Ultra Beast decks. Guys, in the comments down below, let me know how you feel. This is Showtime, signing off. Peace, trainers.